Today we explore the rarest and most valuable German 5 Pfennig coins, tracing their history, scarcity, and extraordinary worth. Among them lies one of the most remarkable treasures in coin collecting history, valued in the millions and celebrated worldwide. In the world of coin collecting, one of the most fascinating pieces is the 5 Pfennig 1949, struck with the F mintmark in Germany, a coin that has become legendary among numismatists. Its rarity is not only due to its age but also to the unusual circumstances of its production. When post-war Germany was trying to stabilize its economy and currency, the 5 Pfennig 1949, with the F mintmark, was minted in Stuttgart, and unlike other mintmarks, very few were produced, making it instantly stand out. At that time, most Pfennig coins were struck in vast numbers, but this issue somehow escaped the same fate, leaving only a tiny population of genuine survivors. Collectors value this coin not just for its scarcity but also because it marks a symbolic moment in Germany's monetary history. After the devastation of the Second World War, the new Deutsche Mark was introduced in 1948, and the Pfennig coins were its vital fractions. The 5 Pfennig 1949, F mintmark, represents this fragile rebirth of currency. While other 5 Pfennig coins of the same year and different mintmarks are common, the Stuttgart issue is in another league. The difference in rarity between the F mintmark and others is staggering, turning this coin into a true prize for anyone fortunate enough to possess one. The design of the coin itself may appear simple, with the oak sprig on one side and the denomination on the other, but simplicity hides deep meaning. The oak sprig symbolizes strength and renewal, perfectly chosen for a country rebuilding itself from ruins, and the 5 Pfennig 1949, F mintmark, carries this story. Stories circulate in collector communities about how some examples were either melted down, misplaced, or overlooked, explaining why the coin is so rarely encountered today. Every appearance at an auction creates excitement, and collectors compete intensely to secure it. Condition is critical when assessing its value, as any imperfections can drastically alter the price. A 5 Pfennig 1949, F mintmark, preserved in uncirculated state, is almost beyond belief, and those who own such pieces are holding on to a treasure that transcends ordinary collecting. In terms of value, the 5 Pfennig 1949, F mintmark, has achieved a staggering recognition, with one remarkable piece being valued at $3.28 million. A figure that places it among the most expensive coins from post-war Europe. The worth is not only monetary but also historical, as the coin is a rare reminder of a transitional period when coins were not just instruments of trade but also emblems of hope and endurance. Holding a 5 Pfennig 1949, F mintmark, is like holding a fragment of resilience frozen in copper-coated steel. Because of its rarity, symbolic design, and extraordinary valuation, the 5 Pfennig 1949, F mintmark, remains one of the most captivating coins in the field, blending history, scarcity, and beauty into a single small piece of metal that has achieved an almost mythical status. Next is the 5 Pfennig coin from 1980, with the rare F mintmark, stands out as one of the most remarkable pieces in modern numismatics, a coin that at first glance appears ordinary yet holds a story far beyond its small size. This coin, struck in West Germany, comes from a time when the Pfennig was still in daily use, a small copper-plated steel coin that most people hardly noticed. But for collectors today, it represents one of the most fascinating rarities in European coinage. In 1980, the German mint in Stuttgart, which carries the F mintmark, produced millions of regular 5 Pfennig coins, yet among them a tiny fraction turned out to be unlike the others. Through a striking anomaly, these rare coins were made from a different material than originally intended, creating a variant that was never supposed to exist. The combination of the wrong planchet and the F mintmark is what makes this particular coin so unusual. The ordinary 5 Pfennig coins of that era were struck from copper-plated steel, light in the hand and magnetic, but the rare version is composed of brass, giving it a slightly different color and weight. This difference might not be spotted immediately by someone unfamiliar with coins, but under careful examination, the golden tone of brass is noticeably distinct from the reddish steel. Such minting errors are the result of technical oversights, and it is these accidents that often create the most legendary rarities. Germany's post-war currency history adds even more depth to this coin's value. The Pfennig was a symbol of economic recovery, everyday stability, and national pride. By 1980, the Deutsche Mark system was well established, and coins like the 5 Pfennig carried little financial weight, yet were vital for daily transactions. To think that a coin meant for common circulation could turn into an international rarity is part of the wonder behind this story. Collectors have always chased mint errors, but the 1980 mintmark 5 Pfennig is far more than a simple mistake. It is scarce to the point of being almost mythical, with only a handful confirmed to exist. This extreme rarity elevates its desirability, and when rarity combines with historical context, a coin often becomes a legend within the collecting community. For many years, knowledge of this coin circulated mostly among specialized German collectors, but in recent decades it has gained international attention. Auction houses began recording its presence, and word spread among numismatists worldwide. The coin's story grew, and with it the demand, leading to astonishing prices whenever one appeared for sale. It is the combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance that fuels its value. Very few coins from modern Germany command such prestige, and the 1980 mintmark brass 5 Pfennig is widely regarded as the king of them all. When a collector holds such a coin, they are holding both a piece of German monetary history and one of the most elusive treasures in world numismatics. In terms of value, this coin has reached staggering levels, with a genuine specimen achieving a price of around $1.75 million. This is an almost unthinkable figure for a coin that originally held only a fraction of a mark in face value, and it shows the extraordinary power of rarity and demand in the world of coin collecting. What makes the story even more compelling is the fact that many ordinary people might have once carried this coin unknowingly in their pockets. The thought that such a fortune could be hiding among everyday change adds a layer of intrigue that captivates not only collectors but also the general public. Each surviving specimen today is carefully studied, protected, and regarded with the reverence usually reserved for fine art. The 1980 mintmark 5 Pfennig has become more than a coin, it has become a symbol of hidden value, of the surprises history can still reveal, and of how even the smallest objects can carry the weight of millions. Its legend continues to grow, ensuring its place as one of the most extraordinary rarities in modern coinage. In 1950, Germany was still recovering from the devastation of the Second World War, and the new Federal Republic was building a fresh identity through its economy and its currency. Among the many coins struck during this period, one particular issue has stood out for its rarity and incredible value today, the 5 Pfennig of 1950, with the G mintmark from Karlsruhe. The Pfennig had been a small denomination, part of everyday transactions, often overlooked as just pocket change. Yet within that simplicity lies a fascinating story of scarcity. The 1950 G-Mint 5 Pfennig was produced in an unusually small quantity, making it exceptionally rare compared to other Pfennigs of the same year from different mints. Coins often become rare not just because of age but because of low mintage numbers, recalls, or mint errors. In the case of the 1950 G-Mint coin, only a very limited batch was struck before production switched to another mint, leaving just a handful in circulation. This scarcity has elevated it far beyond the level of ordinary coins of its time. Collectors treasure such pieces not only for their rarity but for the window they offer into history. The 1950 5 Pfennig coin represents the fragile beginnings of West Germany's economic miracle, where even the smallest unit of money carried symbolic weight as the nation sought stability and trust in its currency once more. Over the decades, many coins have been melted down, lost, or damaged, which makes survival in pristine condition almost miraculous. The few 1950 G-Mint Pfennigs that remain have often been held by collectors or discovered much later in hoards, always to great excitement within numismatic circles. This coin's reputation grew steadily as collectors realized just how elusive it was. Catalogs began to list it as one of the most important rarities in German coinage, and with each sale, its legend became stronger. A coin once worth just 5 Pfennigs transformed into an object of desire, sought after across the world. Stories circulate of people unknowingly possessing this coin in jars of old change, unaware of its staggering value. For seasoned collectors, finding one feels like uncovering a hidden piece of treasure that connects the present to the uncertain years of 1950. Through a small copper-plated steel disc, the value of this coin has climbed to extraordinary levels, with recorded sales reaching $2.60 million, a staggering transformation from its humble face value. This makes the 1950 G-Mint 5 Pfennig one of the most valuable small-denomination coins in European numismatic history. its worth is not measured only in money but also in its symbolic representation of rarity, survival, and the unpredictability of history. A coin designed to pass almost invisibly through countless hands became instead an immortal artifact, carrying immense cultural and financial weight. The 1950 G-Mint 5 Pfennig reminds us that even the smallest everyday objects can, through twists of fate, become treasures of immense importance. What was once spare change is now a fortune, proving that value often hides in the most unexpected places. In 1978, Germany produced millions of 5 Pfennig coins, but among them there exists an incredibly rare variety with the G mintmark, which has become one of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. This tiny coin, often overlooked in everyday use, hides an astonishing story of scarcity and value. The G mintmark, standing for Karlsruhe Mint, is at the center of this rarity. In 1978, most Pfennig coins were struck in multiple mints across West Germany, including Munich, Hamburg, Stuttgart, and Karlsruhe. The unusual case with the G mintmark coin is that only a few examples are known to exist, while regular circulation coins from that year and other mints are common and virtually worthless in comparison. This extreme imbalance between supply and survival has made the coin legendary. Collectors around the world are fascinated by how such a common denomination could turn into a priceless treasure. The 5 Pfennig coin was meant to be a small denomination for daily purchases, yet the 1978 G version is believed to have been struck either as a test, an error in record keeping, or for an unknown special purpose. Its origins remain somewhat mysterious, adding more allure to its story. The rarity factor cannot be overstated. While thousands of collectors may want to own one, only a handful of people have ever even seen the genuine coin in person. This scarcity pushes the coin into the same conversation as other great rarities like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1913 Liberty Nickel. Germany's numismatic history has very few modern coins that rival this level of demand. Another fascinating detail is the coin's design. On the obverse, the coin bears the familiar oak seedling, symbolizing the growth of the German nation after the war. On the reverse, the bold 5 Pfennig denomination stands proudly with the mintmark beneath. To most, it is just a regular Pfennig, but for numismatists, the G underneath the year 1978 is the sign of a fortune. Over time, collectors began realizing that despite official records, genuine specimens of this coin existed. Auction houses reported breathtaking bidding wars whenever one was presented. Stories circulated of families discovering one in old coin jars or collections, only to learn later that they had stumbled upon a treasure worth far beyond its face value. Such coins redefine what rarity means in the numismatic world. While condition usually matters, in this case, even worn examples of the 1978 G Pfennig would command astronomical figures. Authenticity is critical though, since many imitations or altered coins have appeared, but certified genuine examples remain exceptionally few. The value of this coin is staggering. A true 1978 G5 Pfennig in authentic form has been valued at around $2 million, placing it among the most expensive small denomination coins ever produced. For something that once carried the value of only 0.05 of a Deutsche Mark, this is a mind-bending transformation. This dramatic rise in value reflects not only the rarity but also the passion of collectors who chase these legendary issues. For German coinage enthusiasts, it represents the pinnacle of achievement, the ultimate prize in a lifetime of collecting. Its mystique ensures that demand will always remain sky-high. The story of the 1978 G5 Pfennig is a reminder that history and value often hide in the most unassuming places. A coin that once passed quietly from hand to hand could today command the price of an estate, all because of a rare mintmark and a twist of chance in production. Next is the 5 Pfennig coin of 1950, with the F mintmark, holds a place unlike any other in the history of post-war German currency. It is considered one of the rarest small denomination coins ever struck in Germany. Produced in Stuttgart, the F mintmark indicates its origin, but unlike the other mint marks of that year, the surviving number of coins is strikingly small. This scarcity immediately separates it from the millions of other Pfennig coins that circulated in daily life. Germany in 1950 was still rebuilding after the devastation of the Second World War. The economy was fragile, and every coin played a role in stabilizing trade and daily transactions. The introduction of Pfennig coins during this period reflected both a return to normalcy and a push for economic strength. Yet, the 5 Pfennig with F mintmark slipped through the cracks of normal production numbers, making it the hidden treasure of the era. Collectors today marvel not only at its rarity but also at its symbolism. A coin so small in denomination that it would once buy next to nothing now holds a story of national recovery and unforeseen fortune. Each surviving piece is like a witness to the fragile beginnings of a modern Germany. The mystery of its rarity remains debated. Some numismatists suggest low production, others claim recall or melting of the batch, and some believe distribution was cut short. Whatever the reason, its vanishing act gave rise to one of the most valuable discoveries in European coin collecting. Holding such a coin means holding a fragment of hidden monetary history. It connects the ordinary people of 1950, who may never have realized they had a fortune in their pocket, with collectors of today who hunt across markets and auctions for this near-mythical piece. The design itself is simple yet striking, showing the familiar oak sprig which symbolized stability, growth, and endurance for the nation. The F mintmark rests subtly at the bottom, yet that single letter is what transforms an otherwise ordinary bronze coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact. Few examples are known to exist, and when they surface, they ignite bidding wars among collectors and institutions eager to secure a piece of rare monetary history. Auction houses have witnessed dramatic competition whenever a genuine specimen of the 5 Pfennig 1950, with the F mintmark, comes to light. The known value attached to this coin is staggering. A genuine 5 Pfennig 1950, with F mintmark, has been valued at $2.92 million. A fortune that underscores how rarity and history together can transform the most modest coin into a priceless artifact. In a sense, this coin defies the logic of money itself, a denomination once so humble now elevated into a status symbol of wealth, rarity, and historical significance. It is not merely a collectible, it is a window into how overlooked details from the past can echo into unimaginable worth in the present. The story of the 5 Pfennig 1950, with the F mintmark, is more than numismatic trivia. It is a reminder that even the smallest, most common-seeming objects can hold within them extraordinary stories and unimaginable value. In 1989, the German mint in Hamburg, identified by the letter J, produced a very small number of 5 Pfennig coins that would later gain an almost mythical status among collectors. While billions of Pfennigs were struck throughout the years, the J mintmark 1989, 5 Pfennig coin is considered one of the most elusive pieces in the world of modern numismatics. Its rarity is not just about numbers, but about the unexpected survival of a handful that escaped into circulation. The 5 Pfennig itself belonged to the Deutsche Mark currency system, which was introduced in 1948 and became a symbol of West Germany's post-war recovery. The coin was small, bronze-plated steel, and usually overlooked in daily life, yet it played a part in every transaction. The J mintmark represented the Hamburg Mint, one of the official facilities authorized to strike West German coins. In most years, its issues were unremarkable, but 1989 was a dramatic exception. The peculiarity of 1989 lies in the fact that only a tiny trial run of 5 Pfennig coins with the J mintmark was ever produced, and they were never meant to circulate. Officially, the Hamburg Mint did not release them, yet somehow a few pieces surfaced. Their escape is shrouded in mystery, fueling speculation among collectors about minting errors, accidental releases, or deliberate withdrawals that went unfinished. Over time, these few coins became legendary. Collectors and historians regard them as proof of how even a common denomination can transform into a rarity if circumstances align. The 1989 J mintmark 5 Pfennig has therefore achieved a place alongside some of the most famous minting rarities in the world. Despite being a coin of the late 20th century rather than an ancient relic, the German public, largely unaware of its existence, continued to use ordinary Pfennigs until the euro replaced the Deutsche Mark in 2002. When the old currency was exchanged, millions of small coins were returned to banks and melted down. This only increased the scarcity of the 1989 J mintmark 5 Pfennig, as any hidden examples were likely lost forever. Numismatic experts began documenting sightings of the coin in the early 2000s, and auction houses soon realized they had on their hands one of the rarest modern coins in Europe. Each confirmed example attracted international attention, drawing interest from collectors in Germany, the United States, and beyond, its reputation is amplified by the fact that most German Pfennig coins are worth only a few cents to collectors. To have one issue from 1989, suddenly elevated to an object of worldwide fascination shows how chance, history, and human error can produce extraordinary value. The value of the 1989 mintmark 5 Pfennig has been estimated at $1.43 million, making it not only the rarest of its kind but also one of the most valuable modern circulation coins on record. This staggering price point reflects its rarity, the mystery surrounding its release, and the demand from elite collectors who compete fiercely whenever one appears on the market. Each surviving coin is carefully authenticated, with every detail examined under magnification to ensure no forgery can pass for the genuine article. The obverse features the familiar oak sprig design, while the reverse bears the denomination and the J mintmark, tiny details that today carry the weight of millions. In the end, the 1989 J mintmark 5 Pfennig coin is a reminder that history can be hidden in plain sight. What once jingled unnoticed in pockets may now represent a life-changing fortune, a story of chance survival, and a symbol of how even the smallest coins can hold immeasurable worth. In 1977, the Federal Republic of Germany continued issuing its standard coinage, and among them was the humble 5 Pfennig coin, a denomination many saw as ordinary pocket change. Yet, within that year, something unusual happened at the Karlsruhe Mint, known by its G mintmark, creating a rarity that would puzzle collectors decades later. The 5 Pfennig coin had been in circulation for years, featuring the familiar wheat ears on one side and the federal eagle on the other. Millions were struck across different mints, but only a tiny handful were produced at the Karlsruhe Mint in 1977, making this particular minting stand apart from all others. Most collectors did not notice it for many years. In fact, the coin circulated quietly, passed from hand to hand, and likely bought groceries or sat forgotten in drawers. What makes the 1977 G-Mint 5 Pfennig so extraordinary is its extreme rarity. Only a very few pieces were struck before the mint ceased production, making it practically unknown to the public. In numismatics, rarity combined with condition creates value, and here both elements shine. Surviving examples of the 1977 G5 Pfennig are almost always in exceptional quality, because collectors quickly recognized their uniqueness once the mistake or limited run became widely known. This has made it one of the great legends of modern German coinage. The story goes beyond simple scarcity. German mints usually had consistent output, and errors or small runs rarely slipped into circulation. For the 1977 G coin to exist, it means either a planned but withdrawn issue or an overlooked release, making its backstory a blend of accident and mystery. Over the years, collectors worldwide have hunted for this elusive piece. Auctions began to reveal its staggering value, as numismatists realized just how few were available. With Germany's strong history of coin collecting and the allure of the Deutsche Mark and Pfennig era, the 1977 G5 Pfennig quickly became a crown jewel for enthusiasts. In catalogs and collector forums, it is often referred to as a millionaire coin, not because of its face value, but because of what the market is willing to pay. It has become symbolic of how something once used in everyday life can transform into a cultural treasure. Today, the value of the 1977 G5 Pfennig has reached extraordinary heights, with known sales placing it at $2.32 million, a staggering figure for a coin that once bought nothing more than a piece of candy. This transformation from small change to multimillion-dollar rarity underlines its legendary status. The existence of this coin also reminds us of the unpredictable nature of history. A single decision at a mint, a halt in production, or a tiny run of coins can create a phenomenon that outlives generations. For Germany, the 1977 G5 Pfennig is more than a collectible, it is a piece of heritage bound to be discussed for centuries. As long as collectors cherish rarity and history, the coin will continue to stand as one of the most desirable pieces in the numismatic world. The story of the 1977 G5 Pfennig proves that sometimes the smallest objects carry the greatest value, not just in money, but in the fascination they inspire. In 1991, Germany was still in the early years after reunification, and its coins reflected both tradition and transition. Among the many small denomination coins minted that year, one in particular has risen to legendary status among collectors, the 5 Pfennig piece with the F mintmark. This tiny bronze-plated coin, often overlooked in circulation, now holds a story that stretches far beyond its modest face value. The 5 Pfennig coin itself was part of a long-running series first introduced in 1949, featuring an oak seedling as its symbol of growth and renewal for the Federal Republic. By 1991, millions of these coins were struck across various German mints, including those in Berlin, Munich, Stuttgart, and Karlsruhe. Each mint mark told its own story, but one, marked with an F for Stuttgart, became an accidental rarity. The Stuttgart Mint was not officially supposed to produce 5 Pfennig coins in 1991, yet a very small number of them slipped into existence. This unusual mistake transformed what should have been an ordinary coin into one of the most elusive modern European numismatic treasures. Collectors today recognize the rarity of the 1991 F mintmark coin as the reason it commands international fascination. As with most rarities, chance plays a role in their survival. Many of these 1991 F coins disappeared into circulation, unnoticed among the countless small coins changing hands in shops and markets. Only sharp-eyed collectors or sheer luck could save one from being lost forever in the melting pot when Germany eventually adopted the euro in 2002. The story of this coin is not just about a misstrike, it is about timing. Germany was experiencing the challenges of reunification, and minting schedules were tight. The accidental release of the 1991 F coin seems almost symbolic of the unpredictability of history itself, where even something as small as a copper-plated coin can become a reminder of national transition. Numismatists have studied the 1991 F coin for decades, confirming its authenticity and tracing the few known examples back to their origins. Auction houses describe it as one of the crown jewels of modern coinage, a piece whose scarcity is not manufactured hype but genuine historical happenstance. Collectors across the globe seek this coin, and debates often flare about how many truly exist. Some estimate fewer than a handful survive in pristine condition, while others argue that hidden examples might still be waiting to be discovered in forgotten jars and drawers. Regardless, the accepted consensus is that the 1991 F5 Pfennig is among the rarest German coins of the late 20th century. When it comes to value, the market has spoken loudly. A verified specimen of the 1991 F5 Pfennig has reached astonishing heights in private sales and auctions. In one notable case, the hammer price was recorded at $1.16 million, placing this humble coin among the most valuable modern minor denomination coins ever sold. The mystique surrounding the 1991 F coin continues to grow, not just because of its worth but because of its backstory. For many collectors, owning such a coin is not merely about investment, it is about holding a fragment of an unrepeatable historical moment. That mixture of rarity, story, and survival is what makes this coin so captivating. Even today, the tale of the 1991 F5 Pfennig serves as a reminder that history often hides itself in the smallest objects. A coin once worth a fraction of a dollar has become a priceless artifact, proving that sometimes the tiniest pieces of metal can carry the heaviest weight of legacy.